We don't want to waste your time. We want to make sure we bring quality programming time and time when we put this on. So again, share with folks that this is open to the public. Encourage those that you collaborate with to get the same insight that you're getting. And I'm not going to take up too much more time. I know we delayed a little bit because we've got some events in downtown and heard that parking was a challenge. So what I'm going to do now is turn this over to our president and founder and chairman, Mr. David Porter.
Thank you very much. I'm not going to ask how you're doing because I've heard already everybody's doing fantastic. But certainly want to thank you for coming in. And this is all about making a progressive city even more so. With a music industry that should be vibrant, should be happening all over the world in a even more respectful way. And there are all kinds of complements to that purpose that we intend to accomplish through the Talent Development Complex and through the Consortium program that we have. So we would like for everyone in this community to embrace that effort and to know that our goal and objectives are simply to help Memphis in a complementary way get its proper place and world recognition through its music and those compliments that make people appreciate Memphis music. And as George has already stated, the great people that we're having come in and share their insight and knowledge, without a doubt, they are busy individuals. They have all kinds of options to do so many things. For them to come to Memphis and give of their time and their energies to share insight and information with you and with Memphis speaks to not only their credibility, but their desires to be a complement to your efforts going forward. So I applaud all of our speakers who've come to Memphis, and certainly to have someone of the stature of Martin come to Memphis and give of his time and energy for this is just a tremendous compliment. We have a great relationship going on with some tremendous partners, and one of them, I'm sure many of you know, is the University of Memphis. Ben Jonas, who has been just so unbelievably positive to what all Memphis music and all the efforts are about in this community, was the leader in helping to just crystallize the relationship between the consortium and the university. And I just simply cannot stop applauding Ben enough for doing that. But I want Memphis to be proud of Memphis. I'm an old guy and I'm real proud of Memphis. And so I want everybody to be proud of it. And I want you, as George just stated a moment ago, to try to encourage as many of your friends who have a serious interest in music to become engaged with it. We intend to have a vibrant music industry in Memphis again. But it takes your efforts of putting the information out there, your efforts in making people aware that there's something positive happened, and us all working together to make it happen. That's what it takes. So I applaud Ben Jonas and the University of Memphis for joining us in this effort through the speaker series to make even more great things happen. So I would like for Mr. Ben Jonas to come up at this time. Ben Jonas, yo.
Wow, I appreciate that. Very happy to be here. Not going to take up much of your time, but I just want to set the stage a little bit for why we're talking about touring. One of the reasons that I suggested not only Martin, but also this subject matter, the idea that we're going to sit and talk about touring and best practices in concerts and production. One of the reasons is that I think a lot of people don't pay enough attention to this. A lot of young artists think that the record is the key to the value add. It's the key to the revenue. It's where the money's going to come from. And I'm certainly not one to advocate against writing great songs. Like we spent some time with Brett last month talking about the quality of the content and how important that is. But I think we need to really look at our businesses, our touring companies, our production companies, and figure out how we can take the amazing music in this city and spread it all over the world. The groups that are succeeding that I'm seeing, I'm new to town, but the groups that are really taking off are taking all the stuff that Martin's going to be talking about today very, very seriously, and I hope you do the same. So on that note, I want to do a brief introduction to make sure you all know who you're about to be hearing from. Martin Atkins started his career as a drummer. an exceptional drummer that worked with, I believe, George might have mentioned, PIL, Ministry, 9 Inch Nails. Was on a Grammy-winning track, I believe, Wish, right on the 9 Inch Nails record. Didn't stop there. Successful drummer. That's enough of a career. You could quit as a rock star drummer, I suppose. Instead, he goes to Chicago, founds a record company, Invisible Records, supporting a big part of the Chicago music scene and the international scene. From there, gets hired as to head up the music business department at SAE. And I think I'm really excited to hear from him. This is the textbook that my students read in my concerts and touring class, which we just launched. So without further ado, let's bring up Martin Atkins and give him a warm welcome.
Thanks, Ben. It's kind of awesome. It's been a few years since I've been to Memphis, and it's great to see all of this activity going on and hear about everything that's happening here, which seems to be helping get things going. So I'm really happy to be here. I'm going to do something for those of you who've seen me speak before. Who's seen me speak before? Katrina has. You guys have, okay. So normally I would end things by throwing muffins at people, which is ridiculous. But seeing as how it's like early on a Saturday, I thought I would start. Like who doesn't want muffins? No, nobody doesn't want muffins, right? I mean, don't get too excited. They're just horrible. No, they're great. They're fantastic. Oh, sorry. Katrina's waving madly in the back. Does anybody not have muffins who wants muffins? Oh, sorry. Don't be embarrassed. See that? Wow. What an amazing arm. What an amazing... I should have been playing last night, right? Oh. Anybody else? Now, any questions? Oh. So... Now people are like, well, this guy's fantastic. I could just stop now, right? This guy's amazing. I do want to warn you, there's some language. There's a little bit of language. So, okay, I'll try, but I think there's an F-bomb. It's like that high. It's on the screen. I'll do what I can. Right, so everything keeps changing all the time, except this particular slide, which has been in every presentation I've ever done. That's not my quote, that's Heraclitus, right? So I think we feel the business changing very quickly, but it's always been changing. It's kind of accelerated, but we just got to deal with it. Let me throw some of this at you, because social media is an important part of touring and how we make decisions. I don't know what's going on with Meerkat or Periscope, or now that function is within Facebook, but follow on Consortium, bro, never mind that. Is anybody using Crowdfire? I'll tell you about that at the end because it ties some things together with some automation. It's free. Instagress sits on your Instagram. Anybody using Instagram? Okay. We're beta testing a new platform where you can sell directly from your Instagram account, which is insane. Tweet audit is the reason you don't want to buy Twitter followers, because I can find out in 8 seconds. Hey, my artist has 50,000 Twitter followers. No, you don't. You do, but they're all in Indonesia and you bought them. Bye-bye. Ripple. Anybody using Ripple, R-I-P-L? It's awesome. You can automate text to come up from the side, down, across a photograph. You press one button, it goes to your Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. You press another button, and you see all the analytics. You see where people are paying attention and where they're not. You could just take a picture of that if you want, or you can write it down. R.I.P. Good deal. Oh, Ripple. There you go. Ripple. Instagram, I told you about. Twitter audit. I audited myself. I'm 83% good. I've got 1,700 fake followers. Screw that. I'm going to talk to you about Crowdfire at the end. If I don't, please remind me, because it does some really cool stuff. So everything keeps changing. Dunkin' Donuts are making chicken sandwiches. Burger King, donuts. The world has gone mad. Vinyl is coming back from near extinction. The cassette is back, as if we didn't have enough to worry about. I came up through punk rock. I was in a band with Johnny Rotten for 5 years called Public Image Limited. Johnny Rotten from the Sex Pistols. And now punk is a beer. What the hell? At least we still have anarchy. Right? Do we still have? Come on, Memphis. Could like 3 people take the muffins out of your mouth? Do we still have anarchy? Yeah. And of course, I mean the revitalizing shower gel from Axe. Yeah. So we're going to look at touring. Touring is war. You're at war with yourself, first of all, nutrition. You're at war with the economy. You're at war with people's attention, people's ability to leave the house. You're at war with the weather. And you're jeopardizing everything. Your relationship, your credit score, everything. Your relationship with music is on the line. Your relationship with your fellow bandmates. All of this stuff is on the line when you tour. It's not something to be done lightly. The least of which is you could drive off the road and end up in a ditch, which happens a lot. Happened to my friends in the Scotland Yard Gospel Choir. So don't undertake this stuff lightly. And I love this quote: never take your country to war unless you're sure of the outcome. That's Sun Tzu. And at first I thought, well, that's impossible. It's all just crazy and random. And the more you learn about this stuff, you can be strategic about touring. First off, find out where your fans are. You know, when we came over from the UK, we're touring. Where are you touring? America. Well, America's big. Yeah, that's my that's my golden advice. Martin Atkins said, America is big. Genius. Find out where your fans are and go there. You can never take your country to war unless you're sure of the outcome, and you can be. Here's some tools. I don't know, Ben, if you're using any different tools. Sound Charts is a new one that's in beta, which means it's free for now, but as soon as you get to like it, they'll charge you every month, but it's free for now. SoundCloud has a function where you can track your fans. Music X-Ray. I'm trying to find one where you can track illegal downloads. I don't mind illegal downloads. I don't think it's a problem if 20,000 people illegally download your music. I think it's a problem if they don't. Right? Our only problem is nobody knows we exist. Once people know you exist, you can monetize that. What is that for? Oh, okay. I met 2 guys. I did a social media. I'm like, what is that? And it's blue. I met these 2 guys after an event 2 weeks ago, a duo. I'm like, hey, how's it going? Like, it's going great. We have 2.4 million views on YouTube. I'm like, great. What are you doing here? Like, yeah, it was in Poland. So anybody have an idea what I told them? Go to Poland. And they were like, what? I'm like, go to Poland. I'm like, well, that's what we told our manager, and he said we shouldn't. I'm like, well, your manager was wrong. And they're like, they knew it, but they were like, we should listen to our manager. I'm like, no, you should have fired him 3 years ago. And then it turned out they had 17 placements during the Norwegian Olympics. I'm like, well, go to Poland and then Norway. And they were featured in 4 of the largest soap operas in Poland in the last 3 years. And actually, they have over 4 million views on YouTube if you take into account the fan cover songs. And in the end, I said, listen, that's my son Ian and my friend Bill over there. I said, if you don't go to Poland, my son is going to punch you. So they're going to Poland. My great-great-grandfather was an advance man for the circus. And so I guess this is in my blood a little bit. Something that we don't think about now, but it was his job to go to a city and book the hotel rooms for the performers, order the meat for the lions and the straw for the horses, and I don't know, whatever, put posters up in the pub, give free tickets to the people in the fish and chip shop, right, to do the advanced publicity. Then he would go to the next, he never saw I'm sure he saw it, but he was always 10 or 12 weeks ahead. And I started to do that, right? It sounds crazy. A band would be like, well, why would we do that? The crazy thing is putting 3, 4, 5, 8, 9, 10 people in a vehicle and driving to Cleveland and standing on stage in front of 4 people going, shit, we should have had an advance man. Go there 4 weeks ahead of time. Buy people drinks, be awesome. Hey, what are you doing here all the way from Memphis? We're playing here in 4 weeks' time. Let me get your information. Bam. Let's look at some specifics. Those are the 100 largest markets across the US. So once you look at the available data, which you should be doing with your fans, here's an idea. Don't go west of that line. Just don't go west of that line. West of that line, you've got 800, 1,100-mile drives. You have all of your time in the vehicle. No time hanging out with your fans, meeting your fans, right? So we're all right. This is pretty good. I think Chicago's great. This area here, you can tour in a flower petal pattern. So we're doing okay. I still tell people in California, by the way, when I go out, yeah, you're screwed. Move. Now, so that's a rule. You don't go west of that line until there's a reason. If you're getting tons of radio play in Arizona, go. But there has to be a reason to incur all of that time and expense. Use the 5-pointed star inward-facing crush. I don't have to tell you what that is. I'll tell you what that is. It's this. We have to imagine for a moment something exciting is happening in Cincinnati. So let's suspend disbelief and come on this journey with me. I'm just using Cincinnati as a random example. But let's say there's a reason for you to go and succeed in Cincinnati. Maybe there's a label there that you want to impress. Maybe it's a venue that if you do well there, the ripples will be very positive. We slayed it at that. Other people will book you. Maybe there's just somebody you want to shag, right? Whatever the motivations, there are different motivations for things. You don't go there. If you just go there, you'll be on stage in front of 4 people crying. That's not good for anybody. You play places within easy traveling distance of Cincinnati. And you're amazing in tiny places to 10, 20, 30 people at a time. And when you have enough people on your mailing list, whichever form that's in, to invite to the Cincinnati show, that's when you book the Cincinnati show. And then you don't just hope that those people will come to your show. You incentivize them to come to your show. All the time you're going around these other places, you're talking about an amazing new single you're working on, a design for a new t-shirt, and a live album from your trip to Germany. You don't have to go to Germany to record a fake live in Germany album. You go in here. You can record one in a fake, right? And You email all of those people and go, hey, we're playing in Cincinnati. And the t-shirt, that t-shirt we talked about, it's done. People are like, yeah, I'll just order it off the website. It's not on the website. We're going to have it at the Cincinnati show with the Live in Germany album and a fake t-shirt from Germany that we just made up. Right? You incentivize people to come and see you. And you don't just hope they'll come then. You monitor everything. And if there's a bunch of kids in Dayton who say, I want the shirt and I love this band, we don't have money for gas. Give them money for gas. Don't give them money for gas. Send them a gas card, right? Otherwise they'll drink. They won't drink the gas. They'll drink your money for gas. And now, for $20, you have a bunch of kids in Dayton who will be your fans for life, who are sitting on their laptops crying. You never guess. We're sitting here. We don't have any money. They've sent us money. No, it's a gas card. We can't drink it. We have to use it. So now they're going to bring 10 people with them. Boom. That's how you do this stuff. And if you go around all these places and you don't think you have enough people to magnetize to Cincinnati, you go around again. You do everything except fail in Cincinnati. I wish I'd chosen another city, but it's Cincinnati. Swap gigs, I'll talk about that in a minute. Anybody hear about house parties? There is a book, Shannon Curtis wrote a book. I spoke with her in Chicago at the CD Baby conference. I think it's $7. You got it. It's amazing. So it goes into donation-only house parties, the concentration of seating that's most advisable, indoors or outdoors. She has a script that she advises you give to the host of the party to work with them so they don't say the wrong thing. If they say, you could donate $10, you just put a ceiling on the donation that somebody might give you. She even goes into the best choice of collecting vessel. Clear versus opaque makes a difference. She is FF amazing. F. Asterisk. She really is. So you pour gasoline wherever there's a spark. So you need to be aware of everything that's going on. Wherever there's a spark, you pour gasoline on it. There are no economies of scale, of effort, money, or time. So I teach music business. There should be a column on the spreadsheet for grooviness, vibe, momentum. And there isn't. But those are important factors that we consider in the music business, right? And sometimes the business people will come in. I imagine them coming in to work with a band called Gua from Richmond, right? There's 16 of them in huge dinosaur outfits that look like they say they came from another planet. It's actually Richmond, same thing. But the accountants would tell them, look, we don't need 16 people. Let's cut it down. You don't need the school bus for 16 people. Let's have it be 2 of you in a Prius. You know, you can make all the numbers work until it's on stage. And people are like, this isn't Gua. This is 2 people from Gua with a drum machine. Right? So be conscious of that. If it feels right, do it. Do it more. There's a great band called the Flaming Lips. When they do a live show, it's not like 10 balloons and some confetti. It's like 500 balloons and tons of confetti. They go for it. Bad slide, really. Yeah, let me tell you why this is a bad slide. You have to be like a coyote on a frozen lake. Except I think that's a wolf. Right. And apart from that, the wolf on the lake is fine. It's just going to run across the lake. You actually have to be a human on a frozen lake, and you just very carefully test your footing before you transfer your weight. So this is the worst slide ever to illustrate, right? I'm just saying you have to proceed very carefully. Is what that slide is not about. Arr. So simple stuff. This will help you once you get on the road. I'm going to get to some more stuff in a minute, but once you're on the road, you have to get over your fear of selling. I still have a fear of selling. Who amongst us are artists? Artists? Right. It's weird, right? You don't want to make a commercial track. Sometimes it's put an obnoxious guitar so people know I'm not asking you to buy this or listen to it. I don't care. F you. But really, we want people to like us, but we need to pretend that we don't. Do you like my sing? Right? My merch booth is over there. I had a situation 2 years ago in Florida. I said to my friend Chris, do you think I'll sell any merch tonight? Should I bring the merch in? And he said, well, you won't sell any if you don't bring it in. I'm like, oh my God, I'm an idiot. Right? And that's just my fear of selling. Just have to get over that. We're selling all the time. Maybe you're selling the middle piece of a song and it made me cry. You're selling anyway, right? Just get over that. Roll your shirts. Does anybody do this? Boom, boom. Yes. Shirt rollers unite. This is the tiny stuff that will make your shows work. So, you need to leave the stage and go straight over to your merch booth. That's the rule. You don't sit in the dressing room going, great show. No, you were great. No, you were fantastic. Jacko Pastorius on the back. No, now come on. People are leaving. You just walk straight off the stage over to your merch booth, and then let's say 5 people are standing in line. And the guy at the front says, do you have a shirt in a medium? You're like, hold on. And you're going through your disorganized shirt box, right? Medium. Thanks, Jacko, but yeah. I can't find a medium. The guy at the back of the line, it's only 5 people, he's doing the math. First off, this guy's an idiot with the t-shirts. Secondly, that just took 3 minutes for him to know he didn't have a medium. 20 minutes from now, my babysitter's going into overtime. I've got to be up at 5 in the morning. Bye-bye. So you just lost your first sale because you couldn't find your medium. You just lost the 5th sale. That $40 just walked out the door. And here's what happens next. The second guy's like, do you have large? Large. Here we go. I said, oh, medium. Oh, come back. Right. It takes time. This is the most annoying thing ever. Is that the most annoying? It's the most annoying thing ever. But it's less annoying than losing sales when you're on the road. Boom, boom, boom. Tip jar. This is $15 to $20 a night, and I don't have a tip jar. Thanks a lot, Ian. Tip jars help. This band sent me an email. They said, your tip jar advice saved our band. Like, well, that's sad. How sad is that, right? Yeah. But they said the first night we did the tip jar on their first tour, they made like $15. Yeah. It's like, and they kind of made sure to say, look, the $15 didn't save us. But it was like, it wasn't their money. It was like somebody else had given them this money, because that's what it was. And they went to Denny's for this half of a free meal from everybody. And it was around the table at Denny's that night that they talked through the good and the bad of the day. They did like an autopsy, I call it. And the information from that powwow around the table helped them get through the next day. And the same thing happened the next day, and the tip jar saved that band. You need to put something smart on your tip jar. Sexy people tip or not, it's up to you. I mean, every time you tip, God saves a kitten. Please help the kiddies. This is just ambitious. We need money for drugs and oversized condoms. Of course you do. Learn how to screen print. Anybody here know how to screen print? How can you fail at screen? I mean, I don't mean to have a go at you in front of everybody. It's this. Well, let's talk later, because now I'm upset. Give me back those muffins. So, you have to learn how to screen print. This is how you can afford to make a shirt for $3 instead of buying one for $8. If you make one for 3, you can give it away. If you buy one for 9, you can't, can you? And you can't be strategizing that decision. Anybody who wants anything, you've got to give it to them. That's the rule. Just makes it easier. Also, if you're screen printing, and this is for my band Pigface, it's the same process. You put different things underneath the screens. So now you have a choice. Your question cannot be, would you like to buy a t-shirt? Because the answer could be no. Your question has to be, which one of these shirts are you going to buy now? And you don't know, but I'm blocking the exit at the same time. Hey, elbow in the face. Bam. Hey, bam. Which one of these shirts are you going to buy now? So just having a choice of shirts. And people say, oh, I don't particularly like the shirts, but nobody ever has green. Buy me the green shirt. It's St. Patrick's Day. Cha-ching. Free is the new black. You have to give your shit away all the time. Old business is this, protecting your stuff. New business is hands down by the side and giving people a hammer and asking them not to smash you in the crotch. Here's the thing. The bigger the hammer you give to someone and ask them not to smash you in the crotch, the less likely they are to do it. Does that make sense? It's like a trust challenge thing. I can do 3 hours on that. No reason for this slide at all except to say, F you, I'm hanging out with Chuck D. I just want to bum you out on a Saturday. He's a fan of Public Image, actually, which is really kind of cool. What you know is what you save, and what you save is what you make. Poof. Watch out for your assets. And I have to always have something else to sell. Always have something else to sell. So this is our last date before we go back to Chicago. Anybody want anything? Grab something. Just grab something from my booth. We've got some ebooks, we've got some shirts, whatever. But there's 20 things over there. Giving stuff away only works if you've got 10 other things. Sometimes it doesn't work. It's just a kind of a slowly exploding guilt bomb. But that's okay too. Okay, let's go back to the beginning before you tour. Before you tour. You have to stay on top of the newest technology. I don't have to tell you guys this. Oh, really? Was that me? Sorry. Yeah. No, this is it's my technology gag. Yeah, thanks. Yeah. But you do have to stay on top of the newest technology. And, horrifying slide, this is really good advice, please, but trust me for a second. Install a jacuzzi. You won't see this advice anywhere. You want to go on tour? Yes, install a jacuzzi. Go to culinary school. Learn how to deal with gluten-free, dairy-free, and sugar-conscious recipes. Brew amazing beer. Where is this going? And install extra beds. So, I met this woman. I was on tour somewhere. We did an event like this, and she came to talk to me afterwards. She said, my son is in a band, and I've got people all over the country that will help him. I'm like, well, what do you do? Is this like social media? She's like, no, we renovated our basement. We put in extra beds, improved our laundry, screaming Wi-Fi, and anybody remotely in a similar genre to the direction her son was going in with his band, she told the venue, just have bands come over and stay with us. And she helped them with their laundry. She cooked them breakfast. And she showed me this book that all of these bands had signed with all of their information. And of course, some of them might not exist anymore, and some of them might be like, yeah, it's not convenient right now. But that's a great way to build up your touring potential before you actually start touring. Does that make sense? So if you do want to go to Cincinnati or Cleveland, find some bands from there who are coming here, right? And the Jacuzzi and the Culinary School, you need to be on social media now going, oh my goodness, the Jacuzzi is really hot. And Nigel's coming over he's cooking more of his specially spicy salmon thing that he does. And Susan's coming over with her amazing chocolate Belgian beer. It's crazy over here. And there'll be bands looking at your feed going, let's go there. Next time we're in Memphis, let's go and stay with, I don't love their music, but I love the sound of that recipe in the Jacuzzi, and they got 4 beds in the basement and the laundry and Wi-Fi. Boom, you win. Was that a good one? You thinking about doing that right now? So, just a few last things before we do this. Crowdfire I mentioned to you earlier. So, Crowdfire automates my Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Oh, Twitter and Instagram, sorry, I don't think it automates my Facebook. But how I use it, if you follow me on Twitter, you'll get an automatic response from me that says, hey, thanks for the follow. Here's a copy of my second book. Welcome to the music business, you're effed. So that's a thing for me to give to somebody. When you go to download the book, that's when I get your name, your email address, and most importantly, your zip code. That's worth way more to me than you buying a copy of my book, right? So that exchange happens automatically. It doesn't reduce my workload, because if you go, hey, thanks, I'll respond to you. I'll look at your Twitter handle. I'll find your real name, and I'll respond to you in your real name, which is especially cool if it's not part of your handle. Does that make sense? Tiny little bits of effort that cement that bridge that you're trying to build with people. The other thing I do with Crowdfire, 2 other things. You can tell it, publish this email at the best time for me and my followers. So it knows, as does Social Bro and Follower Wonk, it knows when your fans and followers are coming online. So you'll see me in the morning at 6 o'clock, GTFOOB, get the F out of bed, exclamation point. And Ian told me, that's great, Dad, it's very funny, but most of your followers don't come online till 2 in the afternoon. Right? So Crowdfire will do that for you. And the other thing I do with it is copy followers. So it works for me. I'll copy followers of bands I used to be in, and they're very happy to hear from me and then get a download of my book, and we start a conversation. I'm actually having some very interesting exchanges with Japanese fans who seem really thrilled to be talking to me. I played on 5 albums with PIL, so it's a thing. And not tomorrow, and maybe not this year, but next year, that's going to be very helpful when I end up in Japan, not by accident. So we're strategizing, we're magnetizing and connecting. So we're strategizing, here we are in Memphis, what are the 5 cities around us that we think could be good, right? We're not going to do San Diego, Toronto, Buffalo, Portland, Miami. That's insane, but bands do that. How's the tour? Well, we're doing Portland, San Diego, Miami, Buffalo. Okay, see ya. So we're strategizing where we're going to go next and targeting artists from those cities with our jacuzzi and our barbecued salmon. I don't even know if that's a thing, but I don't know, right? We're also magnetizing those people and connecting with them. But we're also being random. Here's my book. Here's, do cover songs. Think about the genre that you exist in and who you like and who potential fans might like. There are tools to help you with that. Cover some songs by those artists on their birthday. and give that stuff away for free. Make those connections. And then analyze, which I think is misspelled, analyze the results and then go there. Right? So we're being strategic, we're being random, and then looking at the results and paying attention. You do more of what works and less of what doesn't, which seems silly and obvious, but it isn't. Yeah. Whatever it is, get over it. It's something, get over it. Just like that slide. Always say yes to everything. It might not seem like it. I'm ridiculously shy. I have like a 3-year lag time between something being a slide for me and it actually penetrating my head. I was at South by Southwest EDU 2 weeks ago speaking. Had a long day, had a great event. Exhausted when I got back to the hotel. And this group of people in the lobby were like, hey, can we take you out to dinner? And I was about to say, I'm really tired. I'm really tired. You know, and I would have been in the elevator within seconds. And instead, I'm like, oh, I should pay attention to my slides. I'm like, yeah, yes. And I didn't know where we were going. It could have been Denny's, you know, what is it, moons over my hammy? You know, the sky's the limit on the Denny's menu. We went out for the most ridiculous sushi experience I've ever had. We didn't know what to order. It was so amazing. And the guy, it turns out, is responsible for 35,000 students in Canada. And his team suggested we do the chef's tasting menu. I have no idea. I think this is like $200 a person. Sushi that set my head on fire. So for you, you might just get a free bag of muffins or dinner. But always say yes to everything. That's the rule. Language alert. Be more awesome than a pasta restaurant. Olive Garden in Chicago, they have a campaign. Come to Olive Garden, we'll watch your kids for 2 hours. What? So how sad is it that I'm standing here with all of you artists saying, hey, be more like the Olive Garden with their strategies, because they have a strategy. Most of us as artists were just complaining on social media, why weren't more people at my gig? Come and see our gig. No, do something different. That. Stop being shit. Start being awesome. Well, it's our job to be awesome. I mean, those muffins. Come on. Nobody likes this one. Do your fans' laundry. Right? The fact is, really, nobody cares about your music. They probably haven't heard it. They don't know you. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. So when you announce your record release party, people are like, oh, no. Like, but we're having it in a laundromat. We're doing people's laundry. Oh, really? Nobody cares about your music. Nobody on the planet. Everybody has dirty underwear. You win. And I'm not suggesting you hire the laundromat team to do the laundry. And now you can be strategic, music business people, and tweak the dryers so they don't dry as well as they usually dry. So after about an hour, you can be like, hey, isn't this great? And people are like, no, but we're getting our laundry done for free, so yes, you rock. Are you listening? We're not listening, but yeah. People will pretend that you rock. So the dryers are taking a little bit longer than usual. So we're going to put the album on again. More Red Bull and vodka for everybody. Yeah, right. You can manipulate the situation, which is all we do in a live performance anyway, right? You manipulate the situation. And maybe a few people that night will be like, you know, I quite liked a couple of tracks. But most people would be like, ha, 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 ha. Screw that band. Didn't really listen. I had earplugs in the whole time. I've got a bag of free laundry. Maybe 5 days from now, 6 days from now, when they put on their last pair of clean underwear and the dryer sheet falls out, they'll be like, those guys weren't bad. I should go to their next gig. That's how this stuff works. You make a connection. People like you and you get on their radar. They have to do that before they can like your music. I guarantee you not one of you is going to do that, though. But always be nice to everyone. The rule is, be the nicest to the person with the least reason for you to be nice to them. That's the rule. You can't be strategic about who you're nice to. Then it's a strategy. It's not really being nice. Be the nicest to the person with the least reason for you to be nice. There is a strategic reason for it. It doesn't take much. A smile, a sandwich, a beer, not being an asshole, all qualify. Just don't be an asshole to people. And you'll find good things. It takes a while, but good things will happen. Do that. Do that. I'm up at 5 because I got 4 kids. So I'm 5 hours ahead of my arch rival, the lead singer from a band, ironically called the Arch Rivals. 5 hours isn't much. At the end of a week, 35 hours. Okay. At the end of a month, 140 hours. At the end of a year, 72 days. Right? The only thing working against you now is time. You have all the tools, mostly for free, that can help you with all of this stuff. Finding your fans, automating your feed, giving away stuff. It's time that's your enemy. Just get out of bed. There was Jeremy Ellis, who does a bunch of stuff with Machine. Somebody said, what turned the tables for you, Jeremy? How did you start becoming successful? He's like, well, I got out of bed, stopped smoking weed, and answered my emails. There you go. It wasn't some huge strategy. Just did that. This is one of my favorite quotes. Dale Carnegie, 1942, you'll make more friends in 2 months by being interested in other people than you'll make in 2 years trying to get other people interested in you. That's the music, that's the internet, that's all of it right there. My dad gave me that quote. Thanks, Dad. Be more like Taylor Swift. We're just hanging out. This is just, yeah. Didn't say much. She's quiet, very quiet this day. I didn't want to bother her. It's not one thing, it's 300 or 420,000. You know why that number is significant? One tiny thing can make that number happen, which is not spaying a cat. If you don't spay a cat, they say there'll be 420,000 cats in 18 months because of you not spaying one cat. Where am I going with that? Well, you want to be like a not spayed cat. I think my son said to me, marketing, it's like being a zombie. What do you mean? Well, one zombie takes a bite out of another zombie, then there's 2 zombies. And then they take a bite out of 2 more people, there's 4. Then those 4 take bites out of 4 more. Now there's 8. 2, 4, 8, 16, 32. Grains of wheat on the chessboard, right? So what you need to do, this is your mission, is to be like a zombie cat that hasn't been spayed. That's my Twitter handle. If you want to follow me, you'll get a free digital download of Welcome to the Music Business. You're effed. That's my stuff. I'm happy to answer any questions you guys have or not. Or I've got more muffins. Thank you. I can, anybody want more muffins? Don't be frightened to embarrass yourself. Well, now watch out. I don't want to put someone's eye. I nearly did it at the Apple store in Chicago. I was looking at this guy. We had this eye contact. I'm like, here come the muffins. Here come the muffins. I threw the muffins. He turns his head away. Bam! Yeah. So we're not liable for any. Is that any? You want? Ian.
So while he's throwing out muffins,
Last chance on the Muffin Express.
it's a good muffin.
Okay.
Let's give Martin Atkins one more round of applause.
Thank you.
I'm going to start us off with a question, and I hope many of you will have follow-up questions. And I think this is the time to be selfish and focus on your own careers. How can you apply all of that, which is brilliant, to your career, your situation? So let's not be afraid to chime in with some follow-up questions. But I want to back up to one of your original slides. There's this common understanding, I think, in the music industry that we now use our social media metrics, the analytics that are out there, tools like Next Big Sound and various platforms that tell you where your fans are, and then you go there. But what if nowhere in the world but Memphis do you have that audience? I wondered if we could start sort of speaking for the artist who's really in the beginning phases of their career. They've yet to put out a video to reach hundreds of thousands of people. Mm-hmm. There's no audience in Europe yet, but they're great. There's so much talent in this city, yet most of the artists that I meet are focused on playing in this city and don't really know when to go to Nashville, when to go to Little Rock, when to go to Oxford. Can you speak a little bit to that?
Well, I would say, first off, we have a handout over there, which is what are the 15 reasons your show will be successful, your show will be an event. And actually there's 32 reasons on that sheet. To concentrate on that. Touring is not the solution for not making these things happen at home. It's just a more expensive, less public catastrophe. So get your game right here in town, which means, instead of everybody doing their own thing, get 4 artists together and then jointly decide, the $75 you might have made isn't really going to change the world, but doing a free show for everybody might help everybody else feel great. Create an alliance with the other artists performing with you so that it isn't like first band off stage leaves with their fans. You have to support each other. I was on the Warped Tour. It's a big thing that Kevin Lyman does every year. I don't know if it's got to come through Memphis. There's a stage called the Kevin Says stage where all of these artists perform because Kevin said they could play. Right? I watch them every day. 16 different artists frantically covering the grounds, 12,000 people, giving people flyers, putting flyers everywhere, like a paper tsunami, to no result. I was sitting on the bus with them. I said, there's 16 bands with an average of like 5 people in each band, which is nearly 100 people. They're like, yeah, we're not doing anything. I'm like, you're all performers, right? Like, yeah. Why don't you perform in the role of fan of the other bands? And they're like, what? I'm like, stand in front of the stage. Some of you could like sing along with a couple of songs and get the vibe going. And they thought I was insane. That's what they did the next day. And nobody cared with all the flyering, but they walked past the Kevin Says stage and there's 80 people going, yeah, singing along, pretending to really like, and people are like, oh, this looks really great. And they had like 200 people at the stage. And so if we create community, right, we can share each other's audiences and do that here. Once you do that, you take that social media picture, you don't take it from the back of the room that says, look, it looks like a great show, but there's actually 74 people in the room. You take it from up front, and you you post that on social media and start to target people in those towns you mentioned, Oxford, Nashville, whatever, and invite some bands you've seen on social media doing something similar in Nashville, like, hey, do you want to come play here and we'll come and play there? And they'll be like, yeah, did you do the jacuzzi thing? No, but we got the culinary thing down, we're making our own beer. Boom. That.
Great. Shifting modes, there's a common myth, maybe it's true, maybe it's not, you'll clarify here, that artists need to get out of Memphis and go to industry towns. You know, that they need to get out of here and go where there's A&R folks to sign them, agents to book them, managers to manage them. Clearly everything that Mr. Porter, the Consortium, MMT, everything going on here is changing that. This will be an industry town, I have no doubt. These guys are succeeding and will continue to succeed. But based on the status quo, do artists need to be saving up money so they can go showcase in New York and CMJ, or go to LA so they can invite A&R people to the Hotel Cafe? I mean, what are your thoughts on that strategy?
Well, I think first off, you have to look inwards and find who you are as a person. Define success on your own terms. It's different for different people. And then decide as a group, an artist or a band, who are we? And once you've decided that, the best people to advocate for that, that's you. And if you go and do something crazy like South by Southwest, you know, or CMJ, those ideas, you're in an absolute frenzy of other people trying to do that. And to me, that's the worst possible way to try and stand out, and you have to try and stand out. So if your on-stage outfit is silver platform boots, a see-through top, and exploding hair with fireworks, and you go to Times Square on New Year's Eve, people are just like, oh, there's another crazy exploding firework hair person. You wear that outfit to the library. And if you take your artistry to South by Southwest or CMJ, you're not taking your outfit to the library. So I think you need to book yourself. I think you need to manage yourself. And I think the best way to get a deal is not to need one. That's the thing that attracts the industry. You build up your following, so you got 10,000 followers on Twitter. Okay, that's an interesting beginning, as long as those are real relationships. And you build it to the point that you're asking the question of the label, look at what we've done on our own. If you were helping us nationally, where could this go together? You can't ask a major label or any kind of big business wants to do business with smaller businesses, not ideas and right? They want to know you can do 100 shows in a row. They want to know that you can handle that. And if they help you, they've got a good chance of taking this somewhere. The hardest thing, I think, is getting from zero to somewhere. Labels and managers and agents understand somewhere to next place. Very few people understand zero to somewhere. That's that pain point that takes 10 hours to get a gig in the right place or the wrong place. It's worth it to you to spend that time. It's not worth it for an agent or a manager to spend that time to put you in the wrong place on the wrong night.
Well said. Let's start thinking up our questions. When you have a question, do me a favor, come forward so we can get it on the recording, get you in the video. We'll use the microphone, so come up with one. But I have another question about artists playing in Memphis. I'm on a committee that oversees loans for musicians. Really cool thing that everyone should read about. It's part of the Memphis Slim House. And an applicant filled out an application for a loan, and the question was, do you tour? And the response was, no, I don't tour. And I immediately brought that up in the committee and said, wow, that's tough. I mean, that's kind of how people make a living, right? I think everyone should know that the last two studies that measure how people make a living, professional musicians, over a quarter of their income comes from concerts and touring. So when this gentleman said, I don't tour, it was a bit of a red flag. He then clarified in a follow-up email, I play concerts, I just don't tour. And his definition of touring is playing a show in a different city every night. And his reality is that he plays almost every night here in Memphis. He's on Beale Street 3 nights a week. He goes out to Collierville on the weekends. So he's touring. He's just not been to Cincinnati just yet. For that type of artist, of which we have many in this city, could you speak a little bit to local touring strategies? Is that, if someone's trying to build their fan base, should they be playing a lot? Is that oversaturation? A little bit to that situation.
So, yeah, it does get to a point where, so it's weird. Once you're on the road, I used to say to artists, you need to play 7 nights a week. And now I say, you need to do 11 to 14 appearances a week. You need the after-show DJ gig, the Saturday afternoon thing, the Sunday farmer's market. You need all of these things to happen. The 7 a.m. drive time radio acoustic thing, right? It's 24/7. Closer to home, it's difficult. I have something called the flower petal plan. You should look at where you are and start to draw flower petals out from, and it could be 30 miles away, wherever people aren't driving to the downtown Memphis places. What are the next group of places out from downtown? You'll accidentally discover some amazing other places to play that you haven't thought of, where the demographics have shifted. I have a band called Pigface. It's our 25th anniversary this year. We played in a place called Palatine. I'm like, yeah, we'll play Palatine to do a warm-up instead of a last-minute rehearsal. It's our best show of the tour because all of the kids who used to come and see us downtown Chicago 25 years ago married, had children, and moved out to the suburbs. We did $7,000 in merchandise. It was insane. So you just start to grow this out, right? You also have to understand you need to change it up for your fans. Even your supporters can't take it all the time. That's why you need to do the Johnny Cash tribute night where you and 3 other artists all do 4 songs from Johnny Cash because it's his birthday or the anniversary of the day he died or whatever. And somebody should make a cake, right? Now it's interesting. Do you want to come and see our band play Johnny Cash covers? No. Well, Steve's making a cake. All right. Anybody doing laundry? Yes, come on, we'll do your right. Whatever it takes when you're growing this thing. I think artists need to think more like a pizzeria. Nobody launches a pizzeria. It's day 2, where's the money? There's probably a year-long plan to grow that business to profitability. So bands are not a cash machine at first. They're an investment. That's why I say keep your day job, get 2 other day jobs if you can, to funnel money into this enterprise you're trying to launch, which once it takes off can exponentially grow. Use $300 or $400, once again with 2 or 3 other artists, pool some money. Maybe you're each going to get $50 to play. That's $150. Everybody kicks in another $100. That's $450, $500. Offer that to an out-of-town band that you and the other 2 bands can open up for them at this larger show. You just used enterprise and business sense and money and hard work, sweat equity to elbow other bands out of the way from being on that bill. Approach local businesses. Say, hey, there was a band in Chicago. They had a song called Bleeding Heart. So they did a partnership with a bakery called Bleeding Heart Bakery. If you downloaded the song, you got a coupon for a cupcake. If you bought a cupcake from the bakery, they gave you a free download of the song. Is that going to change the world? No, but it's like one more thing, one more experience. And then another business will look at that and go, well, I don't know the people from Bleeding Heart Bakery. I don't know this band. But they managed to work with another business without getting into an internet fight. They changed the recipe of the cupcakes. We don't, you've seen it happen. And that's when people don't want to do business with you. So, we were just down at South by helping Chicago businesses. 1 business paid for a night's hotel. 2 businesses didn't really do anything. We just wanted to help them. And you create this teamwork that can start to pay dividends.
Mariah. She's on deck. If you have a question, would you mind coming up?
Do you need a bag for all of your muffins, Mariah? Are you okay? Will you help Mariah out to a car with all these muffins? Okay, I just want to...
I'll say one more thing, or one more question. I find myself guiding, as a professor, I'm guiding students, many of which aspire to have careers in the music industry. We've got a little plug here. We've got some amazing talent at the University of Memphis. Kids that are starting to tour, kids that are being offered publishing deals, kids that are playing. We got sophomores playing the Beale Street Music Festival coming up in a month. But one common theme I find is that young people, and I'd love for you to share your perspective on this, I find that young people are putting a lot of their energy into their recordings. They're constantly writing, and that's great, and they're recording stuff, but I don't see them developing and honing their live show at the level that I think is necessary. When you get a record deal, what does the record company want to see? They want to see you play live, because that's a big piece of it. And yet, I've got students that think they only need to play their hometown twice a year. They're not touring anywhere else, and their live show suffers. That's a loaded question. You know what I think, but what do you think about that?
Well, I think the label, the music, you said something really good before. I think you had like a songwriting thing here a month ago or something. The music has to be good. The difference between really good and unbelievably amazing, I don't think necessarily lies in the music itself. I think it lies within the chemistry between the performers, their vibe with their audience, their experience, their worldliness or lack of worldliness or whatever it is. The missing ingredient, I think, for a label is knowing that rain or shine, vehicle catastrophe or not, exploding guitar amp, diarrhea, that you will show up and be awesome. And not just at showtime. When you're on the road, showtime's like 9 a.m. You know, when you're at a gas station, you could be making friends with people. If you arrive to a show early, you could go to a Starbucks, and there's pretty cool people at a Starbucks. Find the other places that people are like you. Maybe it's a tattoo piercing place, a hair place, a fashion place, whatever it is. You find those people and make friends with them. If you're not gigging a lot, maybe you're like me and you're just shy. If you're only doing 2 shows a year and pretending to keep it special, maybe it is special, but you're eroding the special value of that show because you're not at that 100 gigs place where the bass player turns around and the singer goes like that, because the singer knows where the bass player is. And there's a physical form of that, and there's a mental telepathy form of that just evolves. Not by playing your instrument in a studio, by having diarrhea and dealing with it on the road, and knowing that you're not getting paid for the next 3 gigs. So if you're not charming the moment you get out of the vehicle, you're sleeping in the van again tonight. And people develop in their own different ways. They develop their survival techniques. That is the essence of the things you need when you walk into an interview cold, walk into a relationship cold, where you triumph in the face of adversity. When you should be sitting on the floor crying, instead you're smiling and talking to people who are 3 hours early for a show in the car park. Hello. Hi.
Thank you. Thank you so much for the information that you shared. Built into all of the wonky, interesting things that you did say were very, very important and amazing pieces of advice. So my biggest question is, leading, he has asked some of the questions I had around when you're building your local presence. But when you're leading a group, or when you've started a band, for example, how do you work on building those relationships within your band? It's important to build the relationships going out, but also within the band. How do you build those relationships?
So, one of the things I like to do is create industry within the band, right? So, next Saturday, we're all flyering. Everyone's going to flyer the farmer's market or the once a month thing that happens, or which you mentioned, the Beale Street thing, right? We're all going to go and do that. So you do that. It's like somebody said to me, is there like a survival guide? Is there a way to create the bonding of being in a band? I'm like, yeah, it's called being in a band. You know, you print your own T-shirts, and the drummer gets drunk, and some of the shirts come out crazy. It's backwards, and people are like, I prefer the backwards one. You do this stuff, and there's thumbprints on the shirts. It doesn't matter because it's the band's thumbprints, and there's pictures of the band having fun making the shirts, and that's what people are buying, not the immaculate Old Navy shirt, right? I like bands to think about how their music should be packaged and to create it. Some bands pull cardboard pizza boxes out of the garbage, and I've seen this, wrap their CD in used greasy cardboard, and it's perfect for the greasy band, right? Other people want to be immaculate, shiny, bejeweled, right? And so those exercises reinforce what your band is. When I touch the packaging, do I want to rub it on my face like a blue blanket, or is it shiny and cool, or is it going to cut me? Is it rusty and abrasive? And these exercises feed into the identity of the band. So, and sitting around a table, cutting pieces of metal or stickering things or folding posters to put them in your limited edition 100 CDs with the fold-out poster, etc. Create these bonds. Does that help?
It definitely helps. And I apologize, I didn't introduce myself. My name is Amaha, and I had a follow-up question to that. So you do mention a lot of strategy in your discussion. Within your feed itself, like with your Twitter feed, your Instagram feed, how do you determine what ties into your particular brand or what types of things you post out there? Not just following up communication, but what you actually put on the feed.
So at first, you're just experimenting. So I used to strategize. I've got some pictures of Johnny Rotten that no one's ever seen. So I remember thinking one day, Sunday, 1 o'clock, I'm going to post a couple of pictures no one's ever seen of Johnny Rotten. Here we go, stand back. Here comes social media mayhem. And it was okay. It was okay. That all died down. I ran upstairs. Oh, it's the next morning. I come downstairs, tread on some Lego in my bare feet, and I just go on Facebook. F, Lego, ouch. Go and have a shower. Come back downstairs. My social media had exploded. I'm like, wow, you can't strategize. It is what it is. So, and now I'm thinking I need to do more Lego posts. But so you randomly do stuff, and then you see what works, and you do more of what works and less of what doesn't. The thing that I mentioned, Ripple, R-I-P-L, you press one button on this animated screen, and it tells you where people are responding, Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook. You go where your fans are, just like if they're in Cincinnati, you go there. If they're on Instagram, you work on your Instagram strategy. Does that make sense? And the more you do, I was talking to a band yesterday called Fizzy Blood from England. They know that Thursday evening is the best time for them to post. They just know it. They get amazing results. They post the same thing on a Tuesday, nobody cares. So over time, you start to build a profile of that stuff.
Thank you so much, Martin. Again, we appreciate you being here today and sharing this with our music community.
Thank you.
And I just wanted, in closing here for the Consortium MMT, again, we want to give you a round of applause and appreciation. Thank you so much. So many